CISA is all are we. Yo, from sunshine to pure clean energy, we are building a future sustainably. Water flowing and food growing, St. Kitts and Nevis CISA we embracing. We are building homes for our sustainability to bring brighter days and a stronger economy. Healthcare for everyone, join the movement, transform our islands. CISA is you, CISA is me, CISA is us, CISA is all are we.
With CISA, we are stronger and free. Yes, CISA is all are we. Let's strive to make sustainability the motto for our country.
CISA is you, CISA is me, CISA is us, CISA is all are we. CISA is you, CISA is me, CISA is us, CISA is all are we. Yeah, yeah. CISA is you, CISA is me, CISA is us, CISA is all are we. Yo, from sunshine to pure clean energy, we are building a future sustainably. Water flowing and food growing, St. Kitts and Nevis CISA we embracing. We are building homes for our sustainability to bring brighter days and a stronger economy. Healthcare for everyone, join the movement, transform our islands. CISA is you, CISA is me, CISA is us, CISA is all are we.
With CISA, we are stronger and free. Yes, CISA is all are we. Let's strive to make sustainability the motto for our country.
CISA is you, CISA is me, CISA is us, CISA is all are we.
During the last year, we have come a long way. We believe in building a country that is sustainable. We have created opportunities to empower, uplift, unite, advance you. Together, we have worked to cross hurdles and deliver great results. 2024 was our year to invest, plant, plan. 2025 is our year to grow, gain, benefit, reap. Guided by our Sustainable Island State agenda, we intend to lead and dominate not just the Caribbean, but the world. We strive to deliver the best for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We will continue pushing boundaries by working harder, smarter, faster. So join us as we're powering agriculture, powering infrastructure, powering housing, powering tourism,
my blessed nation,
powering social development, powering education, powering sports, powering creative economy, powering small businesses, powering healthcare, powering law and order, powering energy, powering ICT, powering environmental sustainability, powering progress. 2024 was great. Let's make 2025 even greater.
I am a product of the island.
Every day we make choices. Like using less, so there's more for all of us. Choices that feed us and and support each other. Caring for each other. So we all stay strong. Turning waste into something that works. Creating with our hands. Building with our hearts. Making homes safer and communities stronger. Lighting the way with clean energy. Together, we are CISA.
What if your child's journey to wealth could begin with a single step? Through Aspire, every young citizen aged 5 to 18 receives $1,000 EC dollars, half in savings, half invested in their future. Financial education for life. Sign up today. Give your child a future of financial freedom. Don't wait for wealth to knock. Create it with Aspire.
I'm Dr. Clark.
And I'm Iseline Phillip.
And we're here to talk about climate change, sustainability, and youth.
So we know climate change is real, but what is climate change?
So we're seeing shifts in weather patterns globally, which are directly linked to a warming climate.
So why should we care about the warming climate?
Why not? We can't survive a warming climate. Can you manage the heat right now?
Oh my God, it's terrible. Even at nights, it's so hot.
And it's everything from droughts, higher temperatures, really intense rainfall when we can't manage, and rising seas.
Okay, so we recognize these things. So what are some things that we can actually do as a small island developing state? Because of course, the future of our federation belongs to the youth. It belongs to the next generation and the generations after that. So what do we need to do to save our country?
There's so many options, but globally we've committed to keeping the increasing temperature to 1.5 degrees. That means seas won't rise as much. But for St. Kitts and Nevis, we have something great. Sustainable Island State Agenda, also known as CISA.
We are on a transformative journey to become a sustainable island state, guided by 7 pillars, which are water security, energy transition, food security, sustainable industry, sustainable settlements, circular economy, and social protection.
And with these 7 pillars, we believe that we can transform St. Kitts and Nevis into a state where everybody can survive, everybody can thrive, our environment is protected, and we can live well together.
All of these sound really great because these are the areas that we really need to pay attention to, right?
And they're guided by our National Development Planning Framework, which tells us exactly how to plan our country and what to do to become climate resilient.
CISA means in everyday life, imagine renewable energy so that we can use our devices longer. It means having 24/7 water, so turning on your tap and having water at any time of day, all day, every day. It means food security. It means eating local, having fresher food, healthier food, more affordable food that's produced here locally.
It means more jobs, more development. It also means smarter homes, stronger homes. And of course, less garbage, more recycling.
And it means, of course, more social protection opportunities to ensure that all persons, regardless of your class, age, gender, that you're able to have the basics that you need to live a certain quality of life.
So CISA is really all about you, and we have until 2040 to make these changes.
is all are we. Yo, from sunshine to pure clean energy, we are building a future sustainably. Water flowing and food growing. St. Kitts and Nevis seas are we embracing. We are building homes for our sustainability to bring brighter days and a stronger economy. Healthcare for everyone. Join the movement, transform our islands. CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we.
With CISA, we are stronger and free. Yes, CISA is all are we. Let's strive to make sustainability the motto for our country.
CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we. Sustainability to bring brighter days and a stronger economy. Healthcare for everyone. Join the movement, transform our islands. CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we.
With CISA, we are stronger and free. Yes, CISA is all are we. Let's strive to make sustainability the motto for our country.
CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we.
the last year, we have come a long way. We believe in building a country that is sustainable. We have created opportunities to empower, uplift, unite, advance you. Together, we have worked to cross hurdles and deliver great results. 2024 was our year to invest, plant, plan. 2025 is our year to grow, gain, benefit, reap. Guided by our sustainable island state agenda, we intend to lead and dominate not just the Caribbean, but the world. We strive to deliver the best for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We will continue pushing boundaries by working harder, smarter, faster. So join us as we're powering agriculture, powering infrastructure, powering housing, powering tourism,
my blessed nation,
powering social development, powering education, powering sports, powering creative economy, powering small businesses, powering healthcare, powering law and order, powering energy, powering ICT, powering environmental sustainability, powering progress. 2024 was great. Let's make 2025 even greater.
I am a product of the island.
Every day we make choices. Like using less, so there's more for all of us. Choices that feed us and support each other. Caring for each other, so we all stay strong. Waste into something that works. Creating with our hands. Building with our hearts. Making homes safer, communities stronger. Lighting the way with clean energy. Together, we are CISA.
What if your child's journey to wealth could begin with a single step? Through Aspire, every young citizen aged 5 to 18 receives 1,000 EC dollars, half in savings, half invested in their future. Financial education for life. Sign up today. Give your child a future of financial freedom. Don't wait for wealth to knock. Create it with Aspire.
I'm Dr. Clark.
And I'm Iseline Phillip.
And we're here to talk about climate change, sustainability, and youth.
So we know climate change is real, but what is climate change?
So we're seeing shifts in weather patterns globally, which are directly linked to a warming climate.
So why should we care about the warming climate?
Why not? We can't survive a warming climate. Can you manage the heat right now?
Oh my God, it's terrible. Even at nights, it's so hot.
And it's everything from droughts, higher temperatures, really intense rainfall when we can't manage, and rising seas.
Okay, so we recognize these things. So what are some things that we can actually do as a small island developing state? Because of course, the future of our federation belongs to the youth. It belongs to the next generation and the generations after that. So what do we need to do to save our country?
There's so many options, but globally we've committed to keeping the increasing temperature to 1.5 degrees. That means seas won't rise as much. But for St. Kitts and Nevis, we have something great. Sustainable Island State Agenda, also known as CISA.
We are on a transformative journey to become a sustainable island state, guided by 7 pillars, which are water security, energy transition, food security, sustainable industry, sustainable settlements, circular economy, and social protection.
And with these 7 pillars, we believe that we can transform St. Kitts and Nevis into a state where everybody can survive, everybody can thrive, our environment is protected, and we can live well together.
All of these sound really great because these are the areas that we really need to pay attention to, right?
And they're guided by our National Development Planning Framework, which tells us exactly how to plan our country and what to do to become climate resilient.
CISA means in everyday life, imagine renewable energy so that we can use our devices longer. It means having 24/7 water, so turning on your tap and having water at any time of day, all day, every day. It means food security. It means eating local, having fresher food, healthier food, more affordable food that's produced here locally.
It means more jobs, more development. It also means smarter homes, stronger homes. And of course, less garbage, more recycling.
And it means, of course, more social protection opportunities to ensure that all persons, regardless of your class, age, gender, that you're able to have the basics that you need to live a certain quality of life.
So CISA is really all about you, and we have until 2040 to make these changes.
sustainably. Water flowing and food growing. St. Kitts and Nevis is how we embracing. We are building homes for our sustainability to bring brighter days and a stronger economy. Healthcare for everyone. Join the movement, transform our islands. CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we.
With CISA, we are stronger and free. Yes, CISA is all are we. Let's strive to make sustainability the motto for our country.
CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we. CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we. Yeah. CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we. Yo, from sunshine to pure clean energy, we are building a future sustainably. Water flowing and food growing. St. Kitts and Nevis, CISA we embracing. We are building homes for our sustainability to bring brighter days and a stronger economy. Healthcare for everyone. Join the movement, transform our islands. CISA is you. CISA is me. CISA is us. CISA is all are we.
With CISA, we are stronger and free. Yes, CISA is all are we. Let's strive to make sustainability the motto for our country.
Good evening and welcome to our National Budget Community Consultations for 2025, the first in a series of community engagements. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem.
Oh, land of beauty, our country where peace abounds, thy children stand free on the strength of will and love, with good in all our schools, St. Kitts and Nevis. A nation bound together with a common destiny. As stalwarts we stand for justice and liberty, with wisdom and truth we will serve and honor thee. No sword nor spear can conquer, for God will sure defend. His blessing shall forever to posterity
Please remain standing as I call on Mr. Petty to lead us in a word of prayer.
Good evening, everyone. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us all here safely to this first 2026 budget consultation. Please bless the presenters as they provide the key information as we continue our mission to transform it into a sustainable island state. May we have fruitful discussions, and most importantly, please take us all back to our home safely upon completion. In your name we pray, O Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good evening again, everyone. My name is Sherma Matthew, and I will be your host. It is such a pleasure to welcome you to the first in our series of Budget 2026 community consultations under the theme, Turning Conversations into Action, Building Our Sustainable Island State Together. Tonight, we begin an important national exercise, one that puts you, the people, at the center of the conversation. The national budget isn't just about figures and forecasts. It is about the lives, dreams, and priorities of our citizens, from Sadlers to Sandy Point, from St. Paul's to St. Peter's. This consultation is your space to share your ideas, raise questions, and offer solutions that will help shape how government invests in our future. By being here, you are helping to ensure that the national budget reflects the real needs of our communities in housing, education, health, entrepreneurship, agriculture, and sustainability. We encourage you to participate actively tonight. So let's engage, let's exchange ideas, and let's make sure that every voice counts in Budget 2026. I want to thank you again for being here and for being part of the process of nation building. At this point, we'll now view a brief presentation, visual presentation titled Our Journey to a Sustainable Island State, which captures where we've come from and the direction we're heading. Please pay attention.
Every day we make choices. Like using less, so there's more for all of us. Choices that feed us and support each other. Caring for each other so we all stay strong. Turning waste into something that works. Creating with our hands. Building with our hearts. Making homes safer and communities stronger. Lighting the way with clean energy. Together, we are CISA.
Thank you for paying attention. At this point, permit me to introduce the head table. I have the Honorable Senator Garth Wilkin, Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, The Honorable Conris Maynard, Minister of Public Infrastructure, Energy and Utilities, Domestic Transport, Information, Communication and Technology, and Post. The Honorable Marsha Henderson, Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, International Transport, Employment and Labor and Urban Development. The Honorable Samuel Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Sports and the Creative Economy, and Entertainment and the Arts. We also have the Honorable Senator Dr. Joy L. Clark, Minister of Sustainable Development, Environment and Climate Action, and Constituency Empowerment. We have the Acting Financial Secretary, Carlton Poxon, Adina Richards, Permanent Secretary, Economic Development and Investment. We have the Head of the Civil Service, Ms. Thelma Richard, Head of Civil Service, like I mentioned, and other senior government officials in the room. At this point, we will call on our first presenter, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, who will be presenting on food and nutrition security.
Pleasant evening to all. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, lovely. Now tonight, I've been asked to come and present here tonight on a very critical matter, food and nutrition security. I often say that our people fundamentally understand the fact that we can live without many things, but we cannot live without food. And not just about having food to eat, but having safe and nutritious food to eat. It must be in a supply that is fundamentally enough for our sustenance, but also a supply that ensures that we get the vital nutrients that we need to lead healthy and productive lives. So we're not just talking about having something to eat to say my belly is full, but having something to eat that ensures that we can be productive for a long time. We've recognized, as of late, NCDs have been taking over our people. We are, unfortunately, becoming sick at early ages. We have seen an increase in cancers, and we've seen the negative effect of high blood pressure, diabetes, and so forth. That is all connected to our diets, the availability of food, and the type of, and the quality of food. Now, we are saying that as a country, for us to become the sustainable island state that we preach of, we must have a healthy population that is ready to work, ready to drive our economy beyond the boundaries that we currently see and into a new frontier. To be able to do that effectively, we need healthy food. Part of how we ensure that we have healthy food is to eat what we grow and grow what we eat. Now, we are not saying that St. Kitts and Nevis can produce everything that we consume. On 68 square miles, it's inefficient, and it would not be the best use of our agriculture sector. What we are saying, though, is that if we can identify a number of crops, a number of items of protein, be it fish, poultry, beef, pork, mutton, and we can produce them sustainably and offset that which we import, then we would lead better and healthier lives. Because we then know exactly what we're consuming. A lot of times, we import food. And we've seen all over the internet, and even recently, I've seen videos even here locally, where even the rice seems to be plastic. We've seen our leafy greens, in some cases, where even if you light a fire on some of the lettuce, you recognize this cannot be organic, planted lettuce. And I'm saying that is not good for our people. When the farmer across the road plants that lettuce and you consume it, you know exactly what you're eating. And we are saying this must be the approach we should take in whenever it is afforded to us. And in that regard, we have commitments. The Ministry of Agriculture and the country has a regional commitment. And our regional commitment right now, as we sit, is to the 25 by 25 plus 5 agenda. This is an agenda that was initiated by CARICOM, where they had put together a plan to reduce the regional food import bill by 25% by 2025. Unfortunately, because of some of the hurricanes that would have hit countries like Grenada, St. Vincent, and other territories over the past few years, they have decided to extend that program to 25 by 30. And so now they are saying that they want to reduce it by 25% by 2030. This isn't just a matter of economics, which it is, yes, but it's also a matter of, like I'm saying, making sure that we have healthy food to eat and food that we know where it's coming from. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we have turned away from the land. That is the reality. Prior to 2005, we survived on agriculture, sugar production. Since then, we've been surviving on services. My colleague minister leads tourism, one of our key industries. There's also the financial sector that contributes significantly to our economy as well. But we are saying that agriculture should not be forgotten. We are saying that agriculture must play its role. And we recognize that there's a role for agriculture to play. When we did our calculation on simple products like sweet peppers, St. Kitts and Nevis imports about $2 million a year of sweet peppers. That means that every year, roughly, there's $2 million that's being spent on sweet peppers, no matter where they come from. We are saying, why not spend that $2 million on our local farmers? When we look at crops like kale and lettuce, St. Kitts and Nevis spends over $1 million a year on these crops. We are saying, why not spend that $1 million on local farmers? When we look at crops like bananas and plantains, we spend somewhere between $3 to $5 million annually on these crops. And we are saying, why not spend that money on local farmers? When we look at products like chicken, St. Kitts and Nevis spends nearly $20 million every year on chicken. We are saying, why not spend that $20 million on local farmers? And we are not just saying it in words. What have we done? We have started developing infrastructure. We have started to ensure that our farmers have the right tools and training to be able to produce. So one of the things that we did in that rollout was identify how can we make production more sustainable. And we had a number of meetings with our farmers. A few things came out of those meetings. One, the threat from feral animals, monkeys, wild pigs, wild goat and sheep, and wild dogs. And so fencing the farms became important. Another thing that came out of those meetings was the threat from drought. And so we recognized that we needed water conservation practices and initiatives to be able to produce better. And that where we looked at one of the most productive farms on the country up to that point, which is a farm in St. Peter's, owned by Mr. Leon Anthony, affectionately called Yellows. And year after year, Yellows would win Farmer of the Year, would have one of the most productive, and this has been going on for over 7 years now. When we analyze his production techniques, we realized he had a very unique setup to his farm. He had his farm covered with ground cover, which reduced the incidence of weeds and pests, and he had drip irrigation spread throughout his farm. Yellow's farm has been so unique that even the president of CAFE, one of the lead agricultural universities in Costa Rica, has been now using his farm as a model of study in that university. And we said, if this is so unique and productive, why not put most of our farmers at this level? And so we gave out the ground covers, we gave out the drip lines, we gave out the fencing, we gave out other components, to date to over 700 farmers, to ensure that they could produce at an equal or even better production capacity as yellows. That was to engage them to be able to produce the foods that we need and partake in the millions that's being spent. We also decided that they can't produce if they don't have the knowledge. You give them all the tools in the world, but if they don't have the knowledge, it'll be difficult. To date, we've done over 4 dozen different training workshops for farmers and fishers. Whether it was in propagation techniques, disease and pest management, even today, they had a pineapple production workshop for farmers. We also recognize, beyond plants, in the area of livestock, that we spend 200 million roughly on food every year. 67% of that is spent on animal protein. And so one of the key initiatives was the Bearford's Hatchery, where we are now producing over 20,000 birds locally per year. That is to help with egg production, but also part of it is to help with broiler production to supply some of the chicken that we need because we consume a lot of chicken. But the other part was across mutton, beef, pork, predominantly. And when we analyzed, it wasn't that we did not have the productivity in terms of animals on the island. But what was happening is that you take the animal to the abattoir, and generally you get one set of cuts that come back out. They chop the animal up. And so the person who wants to go to the hotel and have a nice T-bone steak, that wasn't being provided from the cattle. The person who wanted a good tomahawk, that wasn't being provided from the cattle. And we recognized that that was not allowing us to meet market demands, even though we had some of the animals available. So we brought in Southern University to do a training with our butchers to be able to do all the prime cuts across beef, mutton, and pork. We followed that up because Southern University is American. And we said, okay, you have the American standard. We brought in the Caribbean standard with the help of IECO and the FAO. And we did a workshop as well on that. So our butchers are now prepared to prepare any level of cut for any hotel. And so the man that is rearing like Neil, who has about 5,000 sheep and goat, can now prepare mutton for any market and at any level because the butchers have the training. That again was us being able to penetrate that market and make sure that our local meat production can reach the plates of our people. We also recognize hurricanes presented a challenge. And so we looked at how do we mitigate that effect. We also came to the acknowledgement through these meetings that the sun is getting hotter and that it's pushing people away from our farms. And we thought greenhouses would be a way to go. And we initiated the greenhouse village concept. Again, something that is being adopted across the Caribbean region. Many strides have been made in agriculture, but it remains one of the sectors that we also must recognize as one of the most vulnerable sectors. So it needs support, constant support. High winds, too much rainfall, too little rainfall, too much sunlight, too little sunlight, all have effects on agriculture. And in that regard, we also been engaging for agri-insurance to make sure that our farms are insured. That if any period of time they get too little rainfall, there's insurance to cover. Too much rainfall, there's insurance to cover. High winds and they lose crop, insurance to cover. And we have been having these meetings with our farmers and fishers. Have we seen the impact? Yes. We've seen a number of crops that are exceeding consumption capacity. Crops like watermelon. Last year we had tomatoes that exceeded, and carrots that exceeded capacity. Now we are saying we need to move forward. But to move forward effectively, we need the engagement of the entire community. Because the farmers can grow all the food in the world, but if we don't adjust our consumption pattern to appreciate local, then we are doing them a disservice. What do I mean when I say that? One of the challenges that we've seen that stand out particularly is bananas. Bananas, we are used to a nice, evenly yellow banana that's in the supermarket, and that to us is the perfect banana. Our local bananas may not get to that standard, but I guarantee you, they're more nutritious and they're sweeter. But if we continuously just look for that nice, evenly yellow banana, we're going to miss out on the nutrition and the sweetness of our local banana. But that's an adjustment that we must make as people. The farmers are planting the bananas. They are harvesting the bananas. But are we ready to consume those bananas? And so we too have a role to play as consumers. And herein lies the importance of the money that we spend annually. We need to ensure that this money takes those farm produce to your plates. That whatever we invest in is consumed by you, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. And what we are doing is to make sure that we analyze what you consume, how you consume it, and try to make sure that our farmers, fishers, and livestock producers and agro-processors are producing it well in line with those standards. And from our commitment in the Ministry of Agriculture, we will continue investing in bringing our farmers, agro-processors, and fishers up to date and up to speed with the quality and quantity in terms of producing for our people. It's not an easy road. It is a vulnerable sector. But day by day, we are doing our part, and we are asking you as the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis to continue doing your part. Eat local, buy local, and support our local farmers, fishers, and agro-processors. And with that, hand in hand, we can see not only agriculture, but St. Kitts and Nevis thrive and become the sustainable island state that we are all dreaming of. So thank you, and I turn it over to the MC.
Thank you, Minister Duggins. I ask you once again to turn your attention to the screen as the visual presentation. Sorry. We'll now hear from the Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable Conwys Maynard, as he presents on water security.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable colleagues, fellow citizens, residents, friends. Infrastructure, as you would know, is the backbone of national development. Sorry, did I say good evening? Good evening to everyone. Infrastructure, of course, is the backbone to national development, and it is how we can connect our people. It powers our economy, and it sustains our communities. Every road we pave, every pipe we lay, every project we build is really a commitment to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, a commitment that progress will reach every home, every village, and every generation. A commitment that we have for powering progress. Now, as Minister of Public Infrastructure, Energy, Utilities, et al., I really do stand proud to say that under this administration, led by our Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, we are delivering the most ambitious water and infrastructure agenda in the recent modern history of our federation. When it comes to water security, we are going from scarcity to sustainability. For a decade, our nation has grappled with the growing challenge of water scarcity. Climate change has made our dry seasons longer and our rainfall patterns more unpredictable. Like now, receiving more rain in short periods than previously expected. That's actually not good for our water services, although the farmers might enjoy the extra rain. Yet, this government has refused to let geography or climate dictate our future. We are taking decisive, science-driven action to guarantee a reliable, climate-resilient water supply for all our people. One such science-driven decision is the desalination plants. The first is located at the Canada Industrial Site, and it is a 70,000 gallon per day solar-powered desalination plant, partially sponsored, of course, by our friends in United Arab Emirates. It is the first of its kind in our federation, powered by clean, renewable solar energy, symbolizing the marriage of technology and sustainability. The second and the most monumental and the largest is the 2 million gallon per day desalination plant in Bastille, now entering its testing phase. This $50 million investment includes a 500,000 gallon storage tank and also backup generation. It will soon be commissioned to serve Bastille, the entirety of Bastille, and its surrounding communities. In fact, once the Bastille desal plant comes on board, it will impact communities maybe as far west as New Guinea, because water that we have had to come to Bastille, we no longer need for it to come to Bastille. And as far east as up to Cayon, because again, water that we are sending to Bastille from different areas, we no longer have to do that. And then, of course, as far north as Ogis and St. Peter's. So, this plant will soon be commissioned in Bastille, ensuring that our capital city and its environs, the heart of where our commerce and governance is, and the surrounding communities, as I mentioned, will finally have a resilient water source. And the aim, of course, is to return the entirety of Bastille and its environs to 24-hour-a-day water supply. Now, these projects represent not just engineering feats, of course, by taking 2 million gallons worth of water, seawater, and making it fresh water, but a fundamental shift in how we think about water as a renewable, manageable, and equitable resource that must be protected and expanded for the benefit of all. Many people ask, Minister, there is a lot of rain. Why is it that our water is still going? I'll just give a quick analysis, as I always try to do, so people can be aware. We need about 7 million gallons per day of water in St. Kitts. If it is that this government decided to give me all the money in the world to build 21 million gallons of storage immediately, we have maybe about 8 right now. But if I were to get 21 million gallons of storage tomorrow, and I was to channel the few guts that run during a heavy downpouring of rain, into that 21 million gallons of storage, when we need 7 million gallons a day, how many days can that storage hold water for? 3 days. So, yes, when we have this downpour, as we've had this week and maybe last week, well, what happens in January and February and March and April when we don't get a downpour for weeks, maybe months? That storage means nothing to us. Alternatively, if we are able to find a renewable source of water that produces 2 million gallons a day, rain or shine, we'll be able to have water. So we have to rethink about how we perceive the management of our water sources. Now, we're also working on strengthening our water network, and we're building this for the generations to come. Beyond the desalination, of course, we have advanced our nationwide water network rehabilitation program to replace aged and leaking lines, improve pressure, and reduce wastage. Across the island, you will see crews working diligently, sometimes unseen and many times unseen, in the shrubs, beneath the roads, and through our communities to modernize a system that is now past the age of its peak usefulness. We are also expanding our storage and pumping capacity to ensure 24/7 water access. In Keon, for instance, we have commenced the construction of a 500,000-gallon water tank, which will maximize the yield from the new well we commissioned in Keon in 2024. Similar upgrades are being scoped for other communities to ensure that every Haitian family has reliable access to clean, safe water every day of the year. Now, this is a very important exercise because we are in Sadlers. And many of you will ask, well, you're talking about Bastia and its environs. Well, what about us here in Newton Ground, St. Paul's, Dieppe, Sadlers, Parsons, etc.? Well, in keeping with our commitment of harnessing technology for water security and keeping that commitment to data-driven decision-making, the Water Services Department has completed a semi-airborne drone survey across multiple communities to identify new potential groundwater sources. And I am pleased to announce that this innovative approach marks firstly the first for our island and perhaps in the region, using drone-based geophysical mapping to locate aquifers hidden beneath our soil. I am pleased to announce that that exercise has identified 17 new potential drill sites. 17 new drill sites have been identified, and we are going to prioritize the top 10, which are in the most distressed areas, to start drilling. So they include the ones that we found: one site in Keon, two sites in Molyneux, 2 sites in Tabernacle, 1 site in Bellevue, 2 sites in Sadlers, 1 site in Parsons, Dieppe, 1 site in St. Paul's, 1 site in Newton Ground, 3 sites in Sandy Point, 1 site in Stonefort, 1 site in Challengers, and 1 site in Old Road. This is excellent. You can clap. I see you want to clap. You can clap. This is excellent. This means that all of that rain that the people in Sadlers and Newton Ground and St. Paul see, my colleague here on my left says it's always raining. Why can't we have water? Well, I asked her, do you see rivers running consistently all the time? No, because 18% of the rain that falls goes below our feet, and it is captured in our aquifers. Only 2% runs off to the sea. The other 80% is consumed by the vegetation and transpiration and evaporation. 18%. So we actually have, instead of that 21 million gallon storage tank that somebody might tell me to build, we actually have a billion gallon worth storage tank under our feet. And this exercise has just identified 17 potential sites of such large reservoirs of water called our aquifers. So the hydrological assessment was completed in May of 2025, and the final report we just got actually earlier this month. Following this, the drilling contract was actually signed because we did it concurrently while we were waiting for the results of the survey. We went ahead and did the procurement for the drilling, so that procurement was finished. At the same time, we would expect the report. So we actually signed that agreement in September. with Water and Oil Well Services Limited out of Trinidad and Tobago. They won the bid, and the contractor has already received their mobilization, and they have also had the official notice to proceed, with drilling expected before or by December 1 of this year. This is a monumental leap forward, and so by the end of 2026, of course, we aim to bring almost everyone online for 24-hour water service. And as I wrap, I would talk about our road infrastructure. Now, water scarcity, or water security, alone obviously is not enough. Resilience must also be built into the physical infrastructure that support our daily lives. The roads we drive on, the drains that carry the flood waters, the bridges that unite communities. That is why this government has invested over $80 million in road and drainage improvements across the islands, from the F.T. Williams East and St. Peter's Highway to Racecourse in Newton Ground, Rollins in St. Paul's, Palmetto Point, Boyd's View, Shadwell West and South, White House, and also asphalt resurfacing across the island, too many to mention. We just completed some in Sandy Point, in Boyd's. We're now in the village community. Recently, we completed George Street, the industrial site, and the list goes on and on. We are rebuilding stronger and safer and more resilient networks. They're not just roads. These are arteries of commerce and community. Each project creates local jobs, stimulates small contractors, and enhances access to all of our services, including healthcare, schools, and businesses. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis are feeling the difference: smoother travel, safer drainage, and a renewed pride in their communities. We know we have many more to go, and that is why we are discussing here at budget consultation to determine the next set of priorities. With that, I would say, colleagues, citizens, infrastructure is not built overnight. It is the cumulative effort of vision, leadership, and perseverance. The investments we are making today are not for headlines, but for history. They are investments into the next generation, in our children, who deserve a nation where water flows freely, roads are safe and strong, and every public facility is built to last. When the history of this period is written, it will be said that under this St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration, St. Kitts and Nevis transformed its infrastructure and secured its water future. It will be said that our people, once vulnerable to drought and degradation, became a model of resilience and innovation in the Caribbean. As Minister, I continue to give my solemn pledge in this A-team that we will continue to deliver results, tangible, measurable, life-changing results in every community. Together, we will build a federation that stands tall, that stands resilient, and ready for the challenges and the opportunities of the future. So, Madam Chair, colleagues, citizens, this is not just progress, this is transformation. Every drop of water secured, every mile of road paved, every community uplifted. It is a testament to our belief that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis deserve the very, very best. Together, in these consultations, from now and onward, let us continue to build, not just for today, but for the generations to come. Thank you very much. May God bless you, and may God bless our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you, Minister Maynard. At this time, our visual presentation is ready. I ask you once again to turn your attention to the screen.
In 2022, the concept of transforming St. Kitts and Nevis into a sustainable island state was presented by our Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew. The idea comes from an understanding of the need to holistically address the way we perceive and engage our vulnerabilities and our assets, and the way we safeguard our future as a coastal nation. We are aware of the narrative of vulnerability connected to our existence as small island developing states. However, in the spirit of progression, we have decided that it is high time we transcend these limitations and take ownership of our survival. We are adapting and we are leading. The Sustainable Island State Agenda is the vehicle that will tailor our methods of development and move us in a positive direction towards a future that is climate smart, investment ready, and economically inclusive. Our vision has been clearly set: build a thriving, green, climate resilient St. Kitts and Nevis that prioritizes the improvement of the lives of our people and protects our natural heritage. Thus, CISA is a people-centered movement. It is one that recognizes development as a household enterprise and understands that sustainability incorporates all levels of society, starting with protecting the future of those most vulnerable. To encompass this spirit, we have divided our vision into 7 action areas called the Pillars of Progress: energy transition, water security, food security, sustainable industries, sustainable settlements, the circular economy, health and social protection. Through this green print for success, we can ensure action that is targeted, fulsome, and directly addresses the varied needs across each sector. But action means little without the scaffolding of investment. How do we invest for transformation? If CISA is our vehicle toward a more resilient and secure federation, investment thus becomes one of our engines, a propelling force forward. However, for the highest impact, investments must be made with a clear purpose. We must strike the balance between economic opportunity and environmental responsibility. Reconnecting our pillars of progress, we can clearly determine the best use of our investments. Let's consider energy transition, for example. Geothermal exploration in Nevis provides exciting prospects in energy independence for both of our islands and a revolution in our regional clean energy movement with the right investment framework. For health, social protection, and justice, investments into our smart healthcare systems, climate-proof housing developments, and inclusive social welfare networks can work complementarily to our people-centered approach and help expand the ways by which we are able to protect our citizens and residents. A strong legislative agenda protects investments and ensures that we are aligned with international treaties and obligations. In the area of green infrastructure, as a sustainable island state, shock resistance and mitigating risk are paramount. Investments into climate resilient infrastructure, ports, housing, and transportation systems that are weatherproof are key. Let's consider sustainable agriculture and the blue economy. A sustainable island state must be food secure and must ensure production yields that can nourish and meet the consumption demands of its people. Investments can be tailored towards sustainable agriculture technology and explorations into new and inventive ways of farming and marine resource fisheries protection. In considering circularity and waste to resource systems, investment must support utilizing waste as a resource, building recycling systems that boost economic diversification, exploring waste to energy potential, and tapping into the production of sustainable packaging in keeping with the government's own move toward a single-use plastic-free federation. When we speak of digital transformation, it is to support the investments that accelerate our productivity and functionality as a nation. Let's consider investments in smart, green technology that can upscale our environmental monitoring systems and build our data procurement and management capacities. Education is foundational to transformation. Ensuring that we safeguard the prosperity and welfare of our country by creating inroads for accessible educational opportunities and technical training is critical in advancing quality of life and ensuring that legacy making is a possibility for all. For ecotourism and heritage protection, investing in the promotion of our island through sustainable means and displaying our heritage by authentic, close-to-earth experiences allows us to share our unique products with the world while retaining roots that are indigenous to our people. A critical element to the conversation is securing partnerships that power change. Investment is a collaborative undertaking. Action can only elicit maximum impact when we partner toward our common cause. When we channel our economic drive and combine the financial with the sociocultural, we create a space where the possibilities in partnership become limitless. Through the linkage of partnership and investment, we can tap into maximum impact. So what does impact look like for now and the future? A place where all individual needs are met, where homes and businesses and communities are powered by reliable, clean energy and can withstand a changing climate, where we are nourished by homegrown produce and products, where water is a 24/7 resource for all, made possible by renewable sources, where inclusivity and equality across backgrounds and abilities are ways of life, where circularity and zero waste initiatives drive economic prosperity, where tourism is resilient, year-round, and community-led, where a thriving orange economy allows our creatives and artists to produce purposefully and profitably. So, we remain undaunted by the length of the journey. Instead, we are guided by the possibilities that are within our grasp should we stay the course. Although, while we look ahead to the potential and purpose that large-scale investment opportunities bring, we must never forsake the power of the individual investment, the ones that we as a people choose to make for ourselves and our own environment. Those seemingly isolated choices that we make all interlink to create a stronger, sustainable island state. Our individual investments on the journey towards sustainability may look like choosing not to litter, ensuring that we take our plastic bags on grocery runs, conserving our resources, exploring at-home gardening, volunteering our time and knowledge, and even donating to worthy causes. These seemingly mundane, unassuming habits inform the bigger movements, because investments have a greater chance of success when you commit to and believe in your product. It stands to reason that a sustainable island state and a successful seesaw start with us first. So I invite you to act. With our Sustainable Island State agenda, we are proving that size does not limit ambition. We believe in our seesaw, in the power of our people, and in the potential of partnership. And we invite you to believe with us, not only in what we can build, but in the impact that we can achieve when we work together with intention.
The visual presentation titled Our Journey to a Sustainable Island State prepares us for our next presenter, our next featured speaker. But before we do, allow me to recognize the presence of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew. I now call on Mr. Dinah Richards, who will lead us in economic development and investment.
Ministers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow villagers here in Sadlers, good evening. I am proud to share the progress we are making as a ministry and nation towards shaping a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous St. Kitts and Nevis. In 2005, St. Kitts and Nevis transitioned from dependence on sugar to the service industry, with tourism leading the way. This time, in our nation's development, we are transitioning to a sustainable island state, where we are actively implementing the policies and programs that will ensure long-term prosperity and resilience for the people and the environment. As we try to achieve sustainability, there are some steps that we must take. 1, we must adopt measures to mitigate the effects of climate change, such as increased occurrence and strength of hurricanes, droughts, rising sea levels, etc. 2, we must wean ourselves off from dependence on fossil fuel. We believe if we get energy right, many other things will line up. 3, we must invest in our people. People must be the center of development. 4, we have to strengthen our country, our economy, by boosting agriculture, tourism, and reduce our dependency on CBI and engage in sustainable practices. 5, we must focus on development for all, as no one must be left behind or be marginalized. 6, we must strengthen our institutions and forge partnerships that provide stability and support that our citizens need. That is why the Ministry of Economic Development and Investment lays the foundation for an inclusive economy, focusing on our 6 development areas: climate resilience, green energy transformation, human capital development, economic development, inclusivity and social protection, and institutional strengthening and partnership, all outlined in our National Development Planning Framework. The ministry is instrumental in this transformative effort as we guide strategic investments that align with our vision of creating a sustainable island state that prioritizes people, the environment, and prosperity. Our goal is to attract investments which will result in job creation, economic diversification, and wealth creation, among other factors, while at the same time protecting our citizens' interests, ensuring that growth is reflected not only in statistics, but also in better lives and secure futures. Skipper, which is the investment arm of the ministry, is able to send out the message that the Federation is truly and seriously open for business by identifying certain priority sectors of economic activity, promoting them nationally, regionally, and internationally, and then helping companies and individuals who indicate an interest in making investments in the Federation. The priority sectors identified include tourism. The government, in collaboration with the private sector, has been investing significantly to expand the tourism sector through infrastructural development, investment in marketing, and an increased focus on areas such as water sports activities and high-end hospitality. Also, financial services, agriculture, which includes protected indoor agriculture as vertical farming, hydroponic, aquaponic, and aquaculture systems that allow for the year-round production of selected crops. Investment is also sought in crop insurance, as the minister said earlier, and micro-lending, agro-processing, warehousing, and cold chain storage facilities, sustainable crop and livestock commercial farming, and input supplies. Renewable energy also is a priority sector, and ITC. Let me share a few highlights of our progress as a ministry. We are dedicated to improving the investment climate to make it easier for investors to participate confidently. Therefore, currently, as a ministry, we are collaborating with a donor agency to update the Federation's investment code. This revised code will foster and attract investment by establishing a transparent, stable, and predictable legal environment, while also ensuring oversight and minimizing risks to the country. The new code will enhance transparency and upgrade existing commercial laws to encourage both domestic and foreign investment. This is critical as we are seeing growing interest from regional and international partners, and with the advent of the special sustainability zone, this will offer protection that we need. Let me make it clear that Skipper has always advocated for special economic zones. These are nothing new. The special sustainability zone just adds the sustainability component, which aligns with the vision of a sustainable island state. So special economic zones have been around for a while. So let's be comfortable with the special sustainability zone. Skipper has secured investment to establish a water storage manufacturing facility at Cunningham, Keyon. This initiative aligns with our vision of fostering a sustainable island nation. This investment will enhance the country's water conservation and climate resilience efforts by ensuring greater accessibility and affordability of water tanks for both the government and citizens. This will substantially assist residents, especially those of us in Sadlers, facing water shortages and storage issues. The government cannot supply tanks to everyone at the price that they are currently going for. So with this factory being established, the tanks will be cheaper because we realize that going forward, water tank storage systems must be a part of our housing developments, even our residential homes. The ministry has also secured financing to assist in the renewable energy transformation. As we strive to realize the vision of the NDPF in becoming a sustainable island state, the ministry, with the assistance of the government of India, has secured US $500,000 on a disaster resilient utility infrastructure project. The project aims to address gaps, including the lack of comprehensive data on the current state and resilience of infrastructural systems, particularly in water, energy, and telecommunication sectors. We realize that after heavy rainfall, strong winds, we don't have any water, electricity, and so that funding will look at how the critical areas are and how we can address them. The project was launched in August of this year, and work is underway. Currently, we have some prospective projects in our priority sectors, which are in the embryonic stages, that we hope will materialize in the coming year. They include a St. Kitts and Nevis coffee farm development, an indoor vertical farm, a sea glass retreat, Adventure Cove, Aqua Valley Raceway. But we are in Sadlers, so let's bring it closer to the East Zone. We are seeing growing interest from regional and international partners in the rural area, which is emerging as a hub of opportunity and innovation. Therefore, we foresee thriving economic activity in this region of the country in the near future. This will be brought to life primarily under the Whitegate Development Corporation umbrella. The Whitegate Development Corporation is a state-owned corporation established under the authority of the Whitegate Development Corporation Act. It advocates for the socioeconomic health and vitality of the Whitegate Development Area, which spans from Newton Ground to Bellevue. Whitegate Development Corporation works with several key stakeholders and government of St. Christopher and Nevis to accomplish its mission. The mission of the Whitegate Development Corporation is to develop an economically diverse, strong, inclusive, equitable, and vibrant place to live, work, and visit. Its values are hinged on creating a rural economic space that is safe, welcoming, connected, and accessible, sustainable, and resilient. In 2024, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the 5-year strategic plan for the corporation. This area, which includes Saddlers, is poised to attract further investments, not only in resort and hospitality sector, but in agriculture, housing, technology and innovation, retail and entertainment. Here is a few. Kitchen Hill. There's a significant potential for Kitchen Hill to go further into the platinum class of resort hospitality. Heldon Estate Development, home to Ramada Hotel. The first phase has been completed, but this Ocean View property has created further investment inertia within the Whitegate Development Area. Phase 2 will commence in 2026. Taj Exotica Resort and Spa St. Kitts. Whitegate is in advanced discussions for the development of a 5-star resort at Deer Bay, St. Kitts. This development, valued approximately US $250 million, and expected to feature 600 units to be delivered as studios, suites and villas, spas, fine dining restaurants, conference and event spaces, art theater, casino, marina, and a helipad. This development is expected to create in excess of 250 jobs in construction in this area and related supported services, and a further 300 jobs during resort operations. So there's hope coming to our area. SKNRA Quantum Hub Complex. We're in discussion with the St. Kitts Robotic Association to establish an innovation complex within the Whitegate Development Area. This cutting-edge project is expected to promote St. Kitts and Nevis as a regional and international hub for technological innovations, business, and education. This investment is valued at around $85 million. And more to come on this proposed investment as discussions advance. The village at Brotherson Estate is a middle-income residential development that targets young professionals in St. Kitts, and it is found down in between St. Paul's and Newton Ground. The project features 62 home sites in a safe, livable space. We are pleased to advise that the corporation currently is running a 10% discount on lot price. So those who are looking for land, a 10% discount is going on right now on lot prices at Brotherson. You can visit their site at www.whitegatedevelopment.kn for further information. Agricultural expansion. Whitegate continues to make land available for agricultural expansion. Already, over 1,000 acres have been earmarked for agriculture in perpetuity. The corporation regards food security as a key component of the economic transformation process. Recently, Cabinet also designated Whitegate as a special development area. This represents a significant step towards fostering economic growth, enhancing infrastructure, and improving the quality of life in the Whitegate socioeconomic landscape. The declaration as an SDA is a powerful tool to mobilize resources, attract investment, and address regional disparities in development. So as I said earlier, there's hope, there's work done to advance the socioeconomic framework of this area. And that is why tonight we're in Saddlers, encouraging you that hope is coming. We are working and hope is coming. In conclusion, as we move forward, our ministry remains committed to building a sustainable, inclusive, and future-ready economy while continuing to attract investments that benefit our people, protect our environment, and unlock our potential. These initiatives will not be done in isolation. They will originate from deliberate policy, strong leadership, and a shared vision for progress towards a sustainable future. It is within this realm that we'll continue to seek investments that create more jobs, establish more businesses, and offer greater opportunities for growth for everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, P.S. Richards. We'll now hear a response from the Acting Financial Secretary, Carlton Poxon.
Madam Chair, Honorable Prime Minister, members of Cabinet, Cabinet Secretary, Head of the Public Service, all, good evening. All, good evening. As the government of St. Kitts and Nevis continues to advance its agenda of innovation, inclusivity, sustainability, the Ministry of Finance, through its consultants and technical team, remain committed to hearing directly from the people of our great nation. Through these ongoing consultations, we seek to incorporate the views and perspectives of citizens into the very fabric of government operations and policy making. This participatory approach ensures that the national priorities reflect lived experiences, aspirations, and the ideas of our communities. We trust that, as in the past, our fellow citizens would once again provide valuable insights to help shape the next leg of our journey, the 2026 budget and beyond, as we collectively chart the way forward towards a sustainable island state. With this being said, as we craft the 2026 agenda, the pillars that have been laid tonight of water security, food security, and sustainable industries will remain focused as we plan. As we talk of these, we want to ensure that our budget and what we put forward to the people ensures that there is clean and reliable water sources. We want to ensure that our food bill is reduced as we see more agricultural produce and we indeed reduce our reliance on inputs. As we continue with the plan for 2026 and beyond, in particular the 2026 budget, as my colleague would have laid out, the sustainable industries, we want to ensure that even as we invite our partners from across the region and internationally, we can see local businesses develop and strive, and the ministry with the 2026 plan will ensure that there is room for local businesses to develop. As we continue in these consultations, we want to underscore that the Ministry of Finance is not just here to hear, but as we listen, we would indeed incorporate what our people have to say to ensure that we have a strong national security framework and fabric, to ensure that there's continued youth employment and empowerment, to ensure that as a country, we have good access to health care and education, and to ensure that our elderly and those who are impaired are not left out in our planning for beyond. What does this mean for all of us? It means that as we plan as a ministry, and as we allocate based on priorities. Priorities for healthcare, priorities for water, priorities for agriculture, and all the priorities to ensure that we continue on the path of a sustainable island state. Over the last year, the Ministry of Finance, with the guidance of the various ministries, have made allocation for water. You'd have heard the Honorable Minister spoke about the desalination plants. We would have made allocation to agriculture to ensure that our farmers have the resources to continue growing their crops. You heard the Minister of Agriculture made reference to that. And with the partnership of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, the Ministry of Finance, through our partners such as the Development Bank, have ensured that financing and funds were available to help small businesses. And not only that, through the Ministry of Small Business, we've worked to ensure that the necessary concessions are available, that our small businesses can thrive. All of this, as we move as a nation, calls for partnership. The partnership between the ministries, the various government agencies, and our people. And what we are saying with these consultancies and our various engagement with our people across our nation, as we look at 2026 and beyond, it's not just about the government, it's not just about the Ministry of Finance, but rather our people giving ideas as we partner together to build a stronger, safer, more resilient nation as we move towards our 2026 and beyond agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parkson. At this time, we'll open the floor for comments, questions, concerns from the audience. We don't have any questions, any comments, any concerns. So are you telling me that everything was clear tonight? Okay, Teacher Maggie.
Good evening. As you know, she just said Teacher Maggie. This is directed to Honorable Congressman Maynard. Sometime last year, around November, December, Public Works came to fix the road in Harris's. They began from the line, come down to the main road. That was a disaster. Heavy rains came and they brought down all the dirt from the top, from the Harris home, right down into the road several times. The issue is that the enchantment that is nearby me got filled up with stone and debris. Now grass is going out of it and a lot of mosquitoes. Several times I've been to Public Works, just there by the line area, just before you go into where TDC has their masonry. Yes, I carried pictures, showed the lady, she said they would come and do it. In January, some men came there, they pushed down their shovel once, twice, and they gave up, said they cannot do it manually. They would bring the machine to come and dig out the dirt. Up to yet, no one has come to dig out the dirt from there so that when the water comes from above, every time, almost every day, around that area in the road is wet because there is no outlet for the water to flow over to the gut. I'm trying to beseech to you to see what you can do to assist me, because it seems as if it's I alone feeling the brunt, because nobody else near around that area. Okay, and he's not near me, so he's feeling it too. So I don't know what you can tell me to make me feel a little more satisfied.
Thank you very much for that. And I will immediately follow up with the department. I am not aware of this specific case. I do know that we did the road infrastructure there, and that sometimes means that there's more collection of water when the road is properly done. So I'm going to look into it immediately and get it resolved, because it seems as though it's a simple resolution if you're saying that an area is clogged. So I will definitely look at that. And you're saying this is the Harris's Road? Right. This is the road that was paved?
Yes, the area, the entrapment for the water, when the water comes down.
Yes.
It has to go into the entrapment and it goes across the street over into the gut.
All right.
But that is filled up, and right now high grass is going on. Sometimes I try to pull it out.
Okay.
3 days later it goes again.
All right, we'll definitely look at that. I'm going to send instructions right now for them to go and analyze tomorrow, to assess tomorrow.
Thank you, Minister Mena. Do we have any more questions, comments, concerns?
Yes, good evening. Abraham Mitchum. A little more have to elaborate on the water, Mr. Congress. I foresight that there will be a flood someday, right? And the lady here, Mrs. Tweed, Mrs. Stevens, her yard will be flooded someday. It takes time to understand. While they were doing the drain coming down, I told the supervisor, I told the bigger supervisor, I said to him, because one day the road gets so messed up, I had to take off some hours with my shovel to clear the debris. And then he came down in his pickup. He said, good exercise. I said, no, it's not an exercise. It's a concern. I told him what will happen and what I think they should do to prevent these things from occurring. I said, you are going to build a drain, but not one drain, because the one drain that you have up by the line, it is only sending the water down, flooding the street. When the people who doesn't have any vehicle walking up the road, they're walking in water because there is no sidewalk, because the road is so small. The side, the curb wall is actually to the fence. And I said to him, build a drain above before you reach, just on the hill by Mrs. Wigley, between there and the level. And there is a gut. You can channel some of that water over in the gut. He said to me, I didn't know that there was a gut. I said, yeah, there's a culvert, there's two culverts over there. One that is newly built, because there was so much rain in 1989 from Hugo that they blocked up the small gut, and there was a pool of water up there. So they built a new culvert, and everything is okay for now. And it's still standing. The culvert started to get rusty, and I think you should send some guys to take a look at it. I told my boss, Peter Jenkins, I told him about it. He said, well, I must send some picture, but I didn't get the time to go back inside here to take the pictures. So, the road is not finished up to yet, because they have some this side grass growing up right now. At this side by the drain, they need to complete. And a few more things, Mr. Agriculture Minister. We over here in Harris's as a farmer. I am a farmer also, a construction worker, right? A contractor, right? I do many things. Because in order to survive in St. Kitts, you can't be 1 point man, right? And we over here, the couple farmers that we have going up in Harris's, we are left out. We got to ask for help. They say nothing there for you, but nothing there all done. Right? And when you look, other people get in. Right? And there are roads. I talked to the extension officer. He said, well, boy, I don't went and tell them what is what, and that is that. So I'm asking you, Mr. Minister, we need help over there, because remember, we are dealing with sustainable. We need food. The few farmers over there, we need help. Because we got the monkeys, we got the wild pigs, we got the goats, we got the cattle, and etc. We need some help. Another concern, the sporting facility, it needs looking after. We need it fence, and we also need the bleachers. Could it partially fence with a roof, so that when you got any sporting, you could get a little shelter. When the rain, when the sun is too hot, you could go there and shelter. You know, Mr. Minister, so help us out. Help us out, please.
Sorry,
And
before you...
One more thing. I think this will go to the Prime Minister, right? You said in your campaign that you would help, you would provide, make way for people to build. Who cannot afford to go to the bank, right? Who want to put on a little room, who want to finish something at the house. In my community, there's a lot of that stall. So I'm asking you, Mr. Minister, right, to send somebody to look at and to ask the people them. You know, because some people, the blocks done up, some people decking done up, and they can't go no further because they ain't got the collateral, right? And they ain't got the manpower, they ain't got the skill. Like me who have this skill, all I need is $10 in my pocket, and I could manage everything me want. I don't have to call a laborer. I will make out, do it 5, you know, take me time. So, Mr. Minister, we need some help on that. Because there's a lot of building around in the community that could be finished to help the people, the children, to have a better place. In like, say, mama, daddy, uncle, in a 1-bedroom. Some of them got to sleep in the front room. You understand? So we need to get out of that system. Thank you.
Sorry, before you leave. Sorry, PM. I just want to ask a question. You were saying that you needed help in agriculture, but you ended it that you need help. What does that help look like?
We need fencing, irrigation, and we need traps to trap the monkey, or you send you on the guy who do the shooting to help.
Okay, let me ask a question. Did you sign up when we were doing the distribution?
I went and signed. I got 500 at the fixed slips. Thinking I done my application for 6 rolls of wire and 100 stakes. And went back, they said, well, okay, come January. I went January. They said, well, everything done. The program done.
And we will, but you understand that, right? That it was that they went out to farmers, but we will see exactly what we can do to assess your situation?
When I look and look around, I see people got rolls of wire in the yard, right? And they ain't doing nothing with them. Some of them selling them.
And we must hold them accountable.
Yeah,
when you say people, you need to name them, because
no,
at the end of the day...
No, I ain't going to name nobody. I will not do that. I will not do that.
And I say this because I want us to understand, this initiative was to boost farming and agriculture. And if people are going to take it and not deliver upon it, it's an injustice to the sector. Yes. And we must hold them accountable.
Yes, because I always say, it's the minister going to get the blame. It's the minister, not the man who the minister to tell and do the job.
But we must hold the people that's doing wrong accountable. We must hold them accountable.
Because there are too much favoritism up there. That's the problem up there. Right? Because I got a personal problem with them up there, you know. With Milan, you know.
And so you must bring those concerns directly. And like I said, not just people. I would like to know who, so that we could deal with issues accordingly.
Because if you go up there and ask them about Abraham Mitchum, right?
Yeah, but you and I could speak on that, and we could get to the bottom of that.
Right.
But our agenda has always been to build the sector, and whoever is not contributing effectively and efficiently to that, and utilizing the resources elsewhere, I believe we need to hold them accountable.
Of course.
Yes. But we'll see what we can do to assess your situation.
And not mine alone, the others.
Of course. Of course.
Because their young men really want to go into farming, you know.
But that's it.
But there's no help.
Well, you can't say that, because we are helping. But what we are saying, we must be able to spread it as far as we can with the people who really want to do it.
Yes.
And whoever are not using it effectively, we must hold them accountable.
Yes. Then there's one more concern. I understand that the agriculture has a backup for itself, right? And I went and asked a question if the backup is for rent. They tell me no, right, to the farmers, right? So I said, but the tractor, you can get the tractor, right? You pay. If $150 according to how much land you want to prepare, you pay. But why not, we cannot get the backhoe to pay and to say, well, okay, I want 2 hours to pay for 2 hours, and the backhoe come and get me trees them out my land so I could get going. Always to clear road, to make a path, you know, to move, which I think it should be done, it can be done. Not just for who the PS say, well, okay, go down there, the officer in control of the operation, say, well, okay, go by Abraham, go down by John Paul today to give John Paul a push out, when it should be for all who can afford. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Abraham. Any more concerns, questions, comments, ideas? PM? 1 second. 1 second, sir. PM?
Right. Thank you, Mr. Mitchum, on the housing matter. I want to thank you for your comment on that. I guess the houses you're talking about, maybe persons are involved in some self-help, or maybe they seem to be doing their housing themselves. I don't know if they have approached NHC to determine what type of help they would be able to get to for their homes. But I can say, however, let me ask Mitchum, so who do these people go to when they have issues in the community? In the community, when you have issues, who do you go to? Is there a person you can go to and talk to and really relay your concern?
Well, I just give it to myself. So that's why I have so much to learn.
Right.
Because I met one of the ambassadors a couple of weeks ago, and I said to him that when there is going to be a town hall meeting, tell the Prime Minister that he must come. Because there are certain questions only he alone can answer it.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, the reason why I ask you that is that I hear your concern, and one of the things I would follow up on is to see where you can lodge your concern and get your concern address, whether it's with your representative, the empowerment officer, or any other outlet you have in terms of persons in the community that you can go to lodge these. For example, the housing, who do they go to? The agriculture in the community, who do they go to? So it seems like you also need someone to address your issues here in the community as well. And so you need that type of contact so that it can be done. Now, the Minister of Housing is not here, but I can say that he has embarked on especially building a number of houses. Presently, we have about 5 construction areas taking place and if they're not taking place in this constituency yet, they will take place. But they are taking place in almost every constituency, and each week they continue to build out. That's one program. So we're consistently building housing for people. The second one is what you call the self-help program, or the help program to assist people with materials. That program is a program that we have done to some extent and also need to expand. That is why I ask you, who are these people? Who do they speak to? Who do they go to? So that would be information to be had to see how those people can be reached and helped at the same time. I note your observation, but I also want to make sure that those people are also seeking help if they need help and what type of response they would have gotten. So that is something I will keep in mind and make a note of so that it can be addressed, so that the people of Saddlers or any other area can have an outlet or contact or know where to go in order to ask for the help that you think that they need at this particular time.
Thank you, PM. The floor is still open for open dialogue.
Sorry, I saw the lady leaving who was giving me the information. Is she leaving or she just went outside? I need to get a number for her. Yeah. Okay.
Good night to everybody. I'll say good night to the Prime Minister and his colleagues. To everyone, it gave me great pleasure to be here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see the Prime Minister get this close to him, and being reminded, when I see that this is the guy who is the Prime Minister. I had the opportunity to saw you as a small boy, running very vigorously and strong, on the sidewalk in 4th Street. So I said to myself, who this little boy belonged to? And then I saw where he went and who he was connected to. And, when I saw that he is the Prime Minister, I said, wait, I know him as a small boy. I saw him running with a lot of energy in 4th Street there on the sidewalk, and I didn't lose your face. And when I saw you, I was so glad to see that, you have grown to be a man, and you didn't go down the wrong road and so forth. So I didn't miss that face, and so now I'm seeing you here, and I'm happy to see you. That's about for me. Okay, I have a few concerns here to the Minister of Agriculture. You mentioned about the monkeys and so forth, and animals and so forth that destroy the crops and so. So I sometimes I look at the YouTube and I see some things that they do. Sometimes, with wild pigs, they would shoot them and they would lay traps, made from pipes and wire and so forth. And so while the animal go in, it drop down and they are trapped. And so whatever they want to do with them, they do with them, right? And, my concern is that with the monkeys, I don't know if this is done here, where they can have traps, where the monkey can go in to a nice feast of bananas or mangoes or whatever, and then the trap door fly. And then you can take these monkeys and you can, carry them to another location where nobody, is growing anything. But you got to look at the problem again. So what come to my mind is that as the Minister of Agriculture, and the experts that are there, they can, ail your plants, they can ail your like mango trees and trees what the monkey was like, they would like to eat. And so, you put them at the border where they would enter. And so as long as I believe as long as they have something to eat, maybe not all of them, they, might just stop. You might just stop the amount of monkeys that you might get, to come and eat down the crop. So you can have the mango trees, maybe you can have guava trees. These are easy growing plants. You can aerate them, and you have a full plant right there, and, it's going to be bearing. And so this might help, alleviate some of the monkey attacking, the farm. Okay? The Prime Minister, this is to you. I was glad when you raised salaries and so forth. And I take note that, you said it in the House to the chairperson, and you said you were listening to an expert some time ago, whether he was from America or someplace, and he said one of the ways to, reduce poverty was the raising of salaries. And I take note that he mentioned two others. Probably you were listening at the same time I listening too. And he mentioned trade and export was the other two that he mentioned that can, help a country, to boost their economy. Okay? And then that was about that, the trade and export, raising of salary. Okay, I have tourism to the, next person. And, my concern is that I could remember, the times when Fort Thomas Hotel, was in swing, and every time I pass and I look at it, I said, this is a waste, and I think that that was one of the landmarks of the old labor people them that was around, and if not mistaken, also the Royal St. Kitts. And so there before the government, venture into tourism, they were already, aiming in that direction. And so I don't know what's the concern of the Fort Thomas Hotel at this time. Okay. I was listening to a comment made on YouTube also, wherein someone was describing us at the bottom of the economical chain, and I think that was very degrading and very insulting to we as a people. But the problem is that the person is saying that we don't support our own, we don't support our own, and if we see another business open, the run go towards that business. And so he's saying that that is the reason why, we are at the bottom of the economical chain. And, if I was, I feel it, I say, boy, that is a really insult to us as a people. And he was saying it to an official. And saying it to an official, if I was in his place, I would have feel bad because I feel like he hitting me too. You understand? Because he is in my country and he's benefiting, and who knows? I wonder how would a country become into poverty. And I tell myself, well, suppose now there are a lot of businesses that might be bailing out your money. You understand? Where would you be? I asked an elder, and we had a conversation, and he told me that one of the ways in which a country can come into poverty is that because the money is being shipped out. So those are loopholes that could be looked at. And the Minister of Finance, you have a big job to do. And, the areas that you have to tackle, the main areas, you're in seaport and, social security and all those areas there, etc. And so that's, my portion for the moment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, good night, panel. Good night, ministers. Good night, St. Kitts, Nevis, and abroad. Welcome to Sadlers. Yeah, constituency number 6. Anyway, good night. My name is Mr. Leonardo A. Fokop Christmas, and glad to see you all actually come out to the community, such a large and wonderful panel on the stage. Yeah. So, well. They say number 6 is where most doctors reside. They still want to say that the minister ain't doing nothing for over here. At the same time, we lose our bank, we get a secondary school. Well, for the Ministry of Environmental Concerns and Sustainability, yeah, I guess we did a good job with the no-bag policy when we go to shopping and things. And it seems as if we're talking about concern for the sea and other things like that. But we talk about the plastic bag that we carry in shopping. Sign. The same bread bags and the same citro bags, they remind me more of a jellyfish than the one them that we use and take from the store. But yet, those are still flourishing more than anything else. And those are the ones them that we really don't have no use for most of the time. Most of the time I'm looking for a scandal bag, I can't get any because sustainability. Anyway, Minister of Agriculture, good to see you in my backyard. Yeah, welcome. I got a little concern here. And it's about a program that started a long time ago. It's at Needmos, the mini agro-processing plant up there, run by Ms. Martin for all these years. They're doing a wonderful job. I even noticed that the structure kind of get improved a little bit. But this is for you now. We're talking about feeding ourselves. But yet, the people are still up there using knife to peel a breadfruit. The people up there still ain't have a machine where they could just say, turn it into a real, organized, functioning factory where they need to take on even more workers or even get more productive, especially when it is you have certain flour costing $120 for only £5. And the price of flour increased so much. Remember when it used to be $78 for a 100-pound bag? Now, it seems like flour is now double that to about 160 or even more. But yet, we got so much breadfruit going around the place. Maybe everybody might not like the taste so much. Maybe everybody gonna say slave food. And at the same time, maybe it ain't good for the bendable bread. But at the same time, it could be used like how they do it as a flour. The breadfruit don't just come into season and disappear out of season because it could only last less than 24 hours once picked before turning ripe and spoil. So, looking to getting a machine for Ms. Martin up there, so we could and see if we could upgrade that to replace or even come close to building our own thing, especially when it comes to food. Since Nova disappeared, I ain't seen nothing at all replace that. And Nova used to do so much of things. A whole bread basket you could have get from Nova with various and variety. All right, so Minister of Agriculture, look into that. I know everybody going to say, you got a lot of different variety of food and things that we could grow. But sometimes, like there's only one God, one life, sometimes we got to focus on one, just like we did with sugar cane, and everything else becomes supplemental after that. Don't just wide range, diversify, like how it is, they say, deal with all these multiple crops. Because, oh, and another thing, with the agro-processing plant, the fact that they could actually dehydrate and turn it into things that could be preserved for out of season, that's the reason why they need a machine up there. And they were talking about for years, but yet we're talking about budget and things like that. But I could name 5 things after the budget right now, and you're going to tell me either somebody don't agree with it or some kind of obstacle in the way in getting that done. But number one, we're talking about building up hotels and all kind of thing. We got a neighbor right there that we can't even get access to without having another Christina disaster. I'm talking about the so-called bridge. It's only 2 miles. Why is 2 miles? What happened? We ain't got no engineers here? What we got this school on Clarence Fitzroy College for? What are you telling me? We're doing all this engineering and we can't even get a couple of brains to even say just build a bridge across the water. And there are so much of bridges around the world. Even New York, said got over 3 more bridges than what it is we have days on calendar. And we can't say get one bridge, make the world look at us down here in the Caribbean and say, wow, they're doing something good. Let's bring us together, man. Because you see, navies have a high income. Because when it is, even though they're supposed to be an international airport, they don't have as much traffic. So since we are a bigger country and we're more known, when it is they come here, everybody going to have access to the bridge. Put up a little toll, make some money, pay for yourself. And even say bring some more money into the treasury. The so-called quote unquote, money don't run out. All right. Anyway, I hear the Ritz-Carlton, that was like what, 5 years ago? I hear that talk there. We even say if acquire the land yet, or we're close to it, or almost to it. We even start trenching out to throw in steel yet. And the Basti High School, the big controversial, that if we don't break down and do all kind of thing, we even start trenching out for that day yet. And the St. JNF Hospital, what was so wonderful, the machines to put inside the same hospital cost so much more money than what it takes to even build a new hospital. But y'all ain't come to the people and tell the people and watch it. What's the reason why we got to build a new hospital is because maybe the load bearing, you all ain't say nothing like that, but yet we're building a new hospital instead of going upstairs, or maybe that ain't feasible. Let the people know. You have another thing too, because hospital, hotel, high school, food. Oh yeah, they say another hotel gonna come down there soon by Cooper's, closest point to St. Martin. Maybe even say build a marina down there and thing. And I ain't looking for no bank, because this is information age right now. This is my bank in my hand. And it look like we're eliminating people and tell us anyway. So having a structure, to hell with that. I was proud to have been one of 2 people outside of Bastia to actually have a bank in the village. But through reason, we lose ours, they didn't lose theirs. But yet, they were going through the same problems that we were going through. But it is what it is. Okay? Maybe the dance couldn't pay for the lights. After all, we had a lot of farmers up here pumping a lot of money into it. We still have a lot of farmers here, but like the people say, sometimes they have so much problems. We got water issues. How come, like I say, instead of having all these crops, we probably got to be bending over because, hey, my people before me slave for this country, you know. And they was always bending over, nails getting ripped up, and all kind of different things like that. So, how about we go into agriculture, we need so much water, like I say. Besides breadfruit, you got trees what would last more than 3-4 generations. Where it is, when it is we plant them, they sustain themselves. And they become like a rainforest, when you walk through, fragrant scent. Food right there on the ground. And they ain't even looking out for no water. More food than monkey could even say full their guts with. Anyway, I don't give you enough ideas. I got more to give. But since you are talking about representative, we part to a contact person. Anyway, like I said, the name is Mr. Leonardo Avery, Procop Christmas. So, and my number, 667-2843. See my phone right here? Hope I don't try to hack it or bamboozle it or nothing like that there. But anyway, you could always reach out to me. I am a high school graduate with some college learning. So if you want to be an apprentice, or even say, call me up and let me see if you could put me in a position without even having to fill out a government application. Do that for me, man. Reach out to me. Anyway, thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Procop Christmas, Prime Minister.
Right, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Procop.
you made some very fundamental points there. And even Mr. Powell, who spoke before you. And I will comment on one or two things that Mr. Powell would have said. Mr. Powell, maybe I can't remember you, maybe I was too young, but I used to be running up and down 4th Street, so you're right with that. You said something about a comment that was made with respect to St. Kitts and Nevis, and where we are suggesting, that person suggesting some levels of poverty. We are not a perfect country, but just to put things in context as to where we are. One, as you know, we have one of the highest GDP per capita in the region. Not only that, when we look at our Human Development Index, it just fundamentally, the economy, education, health, and some social protection. We are one of the highest in the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, last year, we were judged #1 in the CARICOM. We were higher than Bahamas, higher than Barbados, higher than Trinidad and Tobago, in the whole region. So I put that in context to say, I don't know who they are judging us against, but I think there is significant evidence to demonstrate this. Why I say that. And some things we might have that we may not even recognize how privileged we are. For example, education is free all the way up to college. That is a major achievement for a country of the size of ours. Secondly, and you might have mentioned it, we have the highest minimum wage in the OECS for sure, and one of the highest in the Caribbean. And that is distributed across a significant number of the working population. Social Security recorded about 30,000 or more people contributing to Social Security, 30,000 or more. And I think that might have been the highest number ever in our history, right? And therefore, it doesn't mean how much people are registered, but how much people are contributing to Social Security. And so that number was a significantly high number in terms of our population. If our population here is 50-something thousand, the majority are young people, plus the elderly population. The working population is, of course, could be around 30-something thousand. And if you have 30-something thousand people contributing to Social Security, it gives you an idea of how many persons are working in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I say all of that to say, some of these things sometimes we take for granted. However, the point is taken that much more to be done to continue to grow. And part of the objective is to diversify the economy so that we don't depend on the CBI. The CBI, we used to depend on too much, and we see what the CBI went through is very vulnerable. It is a good industry that can bring significant revenue and help development, but it is not an industry that is as resilient as another type of industry. And therefore, we have to diversify so that the economy ain't standing on one leg. The economy should have multiple legs to stand on. And that is why we are seeking investment. And you mentioned the Fort Thomas Hotel. For many decades, since your days when I know you probably used to lime up there, the Fort Thomas Hotel fell into, I would say, decadence. Nothing happening there, nothing going on. And so for the first time, we are seeing a major development coming to Fort Thomas Hotel. That's one, a $30 million investment. So that is going to provide a lot of jobs and opportunities. Secondly, Fort Thomas Hotel, where it's situated, the coastline is falling apart because of the rising sea level and the climate change encroaching on it. So if you look on the seaside of Fort Thomas Hotel site, you'll recognize that it's almost collapsing. This project is going to protect all of that so we don't lose the whole thing. So you'll have jobs in construction and jobs when the whole project opens. Now, the project is set to be not just for local consumption, but for regional and international consumption. In terms of, it is an export. You talk about trade. One of the things we export is tourism and services, our service within the tourism sector, that thing. How do we do that? By offerings. So when the tourists come here, what we are exporting is our country, our service. They're not taking it, but we're offering a service that they consume. So that's considered an export. How do we increase tourism? This is how we do it. By expanding our offerings. So when you have an international Commonwealth Museum with a local focus, it will not just reach our people, but it will reach in the region, and it will reach internationally. Because people are going to say, well, we hear that St. Kitts and Nevis has a top-class museum with marble. No other place in the region has that. Well, I want to see that. That's going to be a major attraction for our region. They're going to attract people regionally and internationally. So we have to diversify our tourism product. We have to diversify what we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So that project, which is a Commonwealth, St. Kitts focus, regional focus type of museum to export to people exactly who we are and what we have, and also have an international flavor to it so that we can expand our tourism product. That is what this product is also about as we continue to expand and become more international as a country. Now, the other mention was made of Ritz-Carlton, and I will touch on a couple on those projects. The Ritz-Carlton is on private land. I want to reinforce that. The land at South Friars does not belong to the government. It is private land. We said to people internationally that St. Kitts has a tourism sector. As a result, the Southeast Peninsula is earmarked almost to be an area to be developed. Those investors who we attracted, because you have to attract investors in order to expand your economy and grow. They came in and they bought the land on the private market for $17 million US. That land was never owned by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. We know that Bratcher had what you call the land acquisition policy, where he nationalized the sugar land. However, the land at the Southeast was never nationalized. Correct. And that remained in private hand. And so they have bought the land totally private, nothing to do with government. And so they invested because they were told that they would have the opportunity. We have an investment-friendly country. And so now they are ready to build. There are some persons there, maybe 3 persons there, who are actually squatting on the land over the years. At some point, they were paying rent. And now the persons have bought the land, do up their plan, and ready to build a $250 million US high-class, top-class hotel, 5-star, that would actually increase our GDP, provide jobs for construction and jobs after it is built, help to put us more on the map as a country with world-class facilities in the tourist industry. And so the persons who are there squatting on the land, they are our citizens. I respect that. You don't want to just throw them off. You want to give them an opportunity. So we have decided that we will relocate them so that they can continue their endeavors in the tourism industry, while at the same time making sure that the people who have bought their private land have access to their land for this development that they want to do. So this can be a win-win situation. So I wanted to clarify that so that people understand exactly the land situation with the Ritz-Carlton. And we are going to help our people there to relocate or give them the opportunity to relocate and assist them in relocating. But what makes it challenging is that if somebody has bought private land for development and you say to them that they can't develop, what does that say about St. Kitts and Nevis? It says, therefore, is it the right environment to invest, or we should invest in another country? But we are saying we have the right environment, and we are going to help our local people who are there, give them an opportunity, and give the hotel an opportunity to develop, to provide jobs and advance our people as well. Or we need foreign direct investment. Since we have been here for the 3 years, we have attracted world-class investors. Safe Harbor at Christophe Harbor. They are the best in the world in marine services from Monaco to the United States of America. And we will become the hub in the Caribbean. Ritz-Carlton is a top-class brand anywhere you go in the world. And we are attracting other hotels down here in this part of the island and also seeking investment in Kitishan Hill. Fort Thomas Hotel that had nothing for many years, that will have a world-class Commonwealth and International Museum with a local focus as well. I say all of that because we are creating the environment for investment. In agriculture, we have now embarked on a collaboration with Tabasco so that we can have that collaboration to drive agriculture here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have that crop and it can help other aspects of agriculture to grow as well. So we have to continue to make sure we get investments to decrease our dependency on the CBI so that the economy is much more stable and resilient and not exposed to the vulnerabilities that we are presently. So that is why we do all that we do in terms of attracting foreign direct investment. The last point was the hospital, and I'm glad that the question was asked. That's a powerful statement you made. So let me say it in short. Why we need a new hospital? The hospital we have, the way it is structured, it can never be an accredited hospital. It is a hospital that served its purpose and its time. When you go to the hospital, for example, you recognize you still have open rooms, 6 people in a space. That increases chances for infection. It does not allow you to separate that. When you also go to the hospital, you would recognize the way the hospital is laid out does not really cater to advancement in medicine. And you can't retrofit it as you would like to make sure it can do that. We need a health institution that would serve us for the next 25 years at very high levels of delivery. We used to be the leaders at one point. You remember the days when Anguillans used to come here, people from St. Martin. They're not coming as they used to because we fell behind. It's about time we reestablish our health sector to attract people, but most importantly, delivering world-class health care to our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Secondly, the hospital has a roof problem. The hospital leaks a lot. Since we came in, we have fixed it, but we have to constantly be on that roof. And we are praying that we don't get a hurricane. Because if we get a hurricane, we will suffer serious damage up there. So can you imagine? We are exposed now to stronger, more frequent hurricanes, and your hospital is extremely vulnerable. It's only when we are hit and we realize how devastating it can be, then we would say, boy, we should have built a hospital, you know. Well, how come the government realized the hospital had problems with these stronger hurricanes that we might get, and they ain't do nothing about it? So we are staying ahead on the curve when we talk about building a resilient hospital, a hospital that can deal with climate change, a hospital where the roof is not leaking. I remember I used to be at JNF, and you had 6 and 4 buckets inside the A&E room anytime it rained hard. We're not doing that anymore because we have fixed the roof, but the roof constantly have penetration, and we have to keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. And so 1, to be able to deliver world-class healthcare, we need a new facility. 2, to deal with the scourge of climate change, the roofing problem, the leaking problem, and all that. 3, to make sure we build it in a way to minimize in-hospital infections. 4, to put us back where we used to lead in the healthcare sector within this part of the world. So I think, and that we need an institution for the next 25 years because this one definitely cannot take us there. And that is why we need a new institution, not just for having its sake, but an infrastructure that would actually deliver the type of health care that St. Kitts and Nevis can deliver. And lastly, to say on that, we are putting it in an area where we can call a health city. There we're going to have medical school, nursing school, research center, hospital, and so forth. We can call that area the health city. That, again, is going to put St. Kitts and Nevis in a particular prestigious position. We have to start positioning ourselves, as you say, to deliver world-class services here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The last one now, the Basti High School, that is ongoing. A lot of trenching. You should visit the site. We have done a lot of the earthwork as we speak, and we had a meeting last week with the financial secretary and everybody. All of the plans now are basically in, and the Basti High School has started. It is not going to stop. So it is ongoing. Right, no problem. And, well, you're going to have multiple contractors for different areas. You need people for plumbing, people for electrician. Well, it depends on what, but we don't have a number. But a lot going to be there as well, all right? And a lot of construction workers, because we're expecting the project will need over 250 construction workers with subcontractors on the site. So you'll have main contractor, subcontractor, and you would have contractors in different areas, from carpenters to masons and so forth on the project. So I just want you to know that, and you asked a powerful question, and you gave me the opportunity to expand on it. So everywhere I go, I will say exactly why we needed a new institution and where we are with respect to the construction. No, this is not the first time, but I'm happy. I would have mentioned it, but this is the first time I'm having the opportunity in a community like this to say it. So I'll say it at the next one and the next one. All right, thanks again.
Thank you, PM. I now call on the Acting Financial Secretary, Mr. Carlton Poxon, to deliver a brief plug.
Just quickly, we want to give a quick plug. As you would see here, program for retail bond. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis, in collaboration with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, would be launching a retail bond, and this is a regional bond also. And so persons would be able to visit either the National Bank or the Bank of Nevis, which will be the brokers for this bond. I want to encourage you, before you leave here this evening, just scan on the QR code and you'll get much more details on this bond. The Ministry of Finance will be ensuring that more information comes out as we go along. And just to let you know, the minimum investment is $500 so that our people, our citizens, can learn and start to invest. The maximum single investment is 50,000, so from 500 to 50,000, and for every increment up, it's $100. The return, 4.25%, and it's a 2-year bond. If you want to ask any questions right after, the representatives here from the Ministry of Finance and will be willing to provide any responses. Thank you.
Let me say something on that. Part of what we are doing in strengthening families, communities, and helping people to build a better financial future, we have done 2 things. One was the Aspire program. Every child between 5 and 18 gets a grant from the government to open a bank account. So all the children in Sadlers between that age, they should have a bank account. The only country who's doing that is St. Kitts and Nevis. In the US, they call it the Trump account, but ours was launched first, and ours is more comprehensive. So children can start investing from young. We ain't believe in just giving children toys and book, they play game and color. That is important. We want them to have that. But we also want them from very young ages to be able to invest and save. That is very important. And that is going to help the next generation to do even better than our generation. But in addition to that, what are we doing for the adults? We have launched this bond. We have fought for it at the central bank levels. 2 countries in the OECS doing it, St. Kitts and Nevis and Grenada. The minimum investment used to be $5,000. How much people in Sadlers got $5,000 right away to take up and put in? You understand? How much people got that? So it means, therefore, a lot of people were excluded from investing in bond. A lot of people don't even know what a bond is because the bond were not accessible to the average man and woman on the street. And so we said, if we're going to do the bond, we're going to take the price from $5,000 to $500. So it means, therefore, that an ordinary man on the street, an ordinary woman, can go into National Bank, can go to the site, rather, and the broker would be, I think, is National Bank and Bank of Nevis, and you can invest $500, start there. You can invest $1,000, start there. So this is really to give access to people in Sadlers. So if there's a man cutting grass and he weighs $500, the man could say, well, let me buy a couple of bonds with this here. Before he couldn't do it. 4.25%. It's higher than almost any other interest that any bank's giving. It's the highest thing around. But that is why the rich people used to get richer or get richer. Because they would have $100,000, $200,000 on their account. They take it up, they buy the government bond, they get back 4-point-something%. The financial secretary could tell me how much money extra they get when he work it out. How much that? And $100,000, how much you got? 4-point-something%? How much? 425? Exactly. And then they take that and they invest it again, and they invest it again. And then you had people in Saddlers in Monkey Hill maybe working for not so much, and they can't buy a bond. And then they can have passive income or an instrument like a bond that would give them a higher interest than putting it in the bank. Because when you put your money in the bank alone, sometimes you lose your money, you know. Because when inflation comes and the bank only giving you 2-point-something%, and inflation is 3%, $100 you put today, next year, the $100 drop, you know, because inflation takes some of that money, and inflation is greater than the interest rate.
Would that be different to the Treasury bond?
Yes. So this bond is different to the Treasury bill. So I'm saying all of that to encourage us to take out the $500, $1,000, and go and say, boy, I'm buying bond. And you could have your bonds roll over, and you could pass your bonds on, tell your children, look, I got some bonds for you. So that is the way we want our people to think. So this is about how we strengthen families, strengthen communities, give opportunities so that our people just don't depend on a salary, but they can invest and have passive income. So we want to shift the mindset. We want our people to become investors, not just savers. Because the last generation, we were savers. We were encouraged to save in National Bank, the penny bank. But right now, the government and the same bank is telling you, we're going to take it a step up. We're going to be savers, but we're going to also be investors. So that is what we want our people to transition to become investors. So I encourage you all to look at it. Don't let the people who got all the money buy off the bond them. I want people in Saddlers buy bond too. Buy them. That's why we carry down the price to $500 from $5,000. This is accessible. I tell them, me ain't going to talk to nobody about no $5,000. Because my brethren in front here who's a farmer, he may not got $5,000. I don't know how much he got, because, you know, you never know. But let's say he ain't got $5,000. I'm sure he might got a $500 and he could buy a bond. So we want the bonds to be accessible. I want to see young people buying bonds. You just start to work and you got a little extra money, buy some bonds. Say, boy, I got a bank account, you know, but I got some bonds too. And diversify your economic portfolio. So that is the purpose of the bond. That is why historically, this is the lowest cost to buy bonds, and we are making it accessible to all the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and not just those who are endowed with significant financial resources so that they can get richer, and then the ordinary people cannot build themselves. All right, so I just wanted to say that as well. So please, look at it. I see you got your phone, brethren. Collect the QR code. You know how that go, and you should buy a couple of bonds. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you all for your feedback and thoughtful contributions during tonight's open dialogue. The discussions around food security, water sustainability, and economic growth highlighted not only the challenges we face, but also the collective will to address them together. Minister Duggins would have highlighted the importance of food security and its alignment with the Sustainable Island State Agenda, the initiatives offered to farmers to help the Federation achieve the CARICOM's 25 by 30 agenda, thus making the Federation self-sufficient, not having to rely deeply or heavily on imports. Minister Maynard, it was very enlightening to learn of the 17 new potential drill sites, and that by the end of 2026, every community in St. Kitts will have 24-hour water access. Okay. The presentation by P.S. Richards, she highlighted the power of investments. And one of the things she touched on was the special sustainable zones. And it was also enlightening to hear her speak of the fact that it is not something new. It has been around for quite some time, and it actually poses no threat to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. She also highlighted 5 prospective projects in St. Kitts, namely the St. Kitts and Nevis Coffee Farm Development, the Indoor Vertical Farm, the Sea Glass Retreat, the Adventure Cove, and the Aqua Valley Raceway, all of which will create numerous jobs for locals. So I think all of these 3 presentations tonight would have highlighted progress, and like Minister Maynard said, and I quote, "It is not just progress, it is transformation." And that is so true. And I would like us to give them another round of applause, please. Thank you. So I now invite the Prime Minister to do a very brief closing remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think I talk enough for the night, but it's because this was a stimulating conversation. I think it's Teacher Maggie I heard, Powell, Mitchum, and I think Proctor. Yes, those are the intervention were really, really profound, and it shows that they are really connected to what is happening. The reason for an exercise like this is for us to take the budget exercise to the owners of the budget. We don't own the budget. You own the budget. The people of Saddlers and the people of this federation. You have elected us to manage the budget. Well, if you own the budget, we got to come back to you to reason with you and to hear from you and to have your input as to how the budget can respond to what you are facing in the communities. It has to be a practical budget, a budget that takes into account what the people are living day to day in Saddlers and other communities. You have highlighted a drain. So the budget has to reflect some infrastructure, that's sustainability as well. You have talked about agriculture that goes to food security, that is sustainability as well. Mr. Powell went into the issues of the economy and the aspects of the economy. That too is part and parcel of what the budget must respond to. And of course, Mr. Proctor, you can see he's a man who knows the history from dawn till now, who put things into perspective in his comments and his questions as well. And so the exercise really is to hear from our people, to help to inform us as to how we should go about preparing the budget for 2026. I know the consultation normally takes place in Marriott, but if we had gone to Marriott only, we'll go to Marriott, but if we had gone to Marriott only, we would not have heard what Mr. Proctor said here tonight. Because Mr. Proctor would not reach over there. Exactly. We would not have heard from him, but his input is also very important. And that is why the consultations for the budget cannot be just in a hotel auditorium, but a schoolroom in the village of Saddlers. Mitchum talked about the challenges he's having. That has informed me. Maggie talked about a road, but I want to say that the road was fixed, but she's saying that there are some issues that need to be upgraded. We are doing a lot of roads around St. Kitts and Nevis, but sometimes there might be issues and we need to get the feedback in order to respond. So the budget has to keep in mind those things, the housing that we are expanding. And therefore, we are consulting you to have those inputs. So we are seeking to create what you call a sustainable island state, and the budget is geared towards that. Now, the sustainable island state is not anything fancy. Everything you mentioned here tonight has to do with the sustainable island state. How can we create a St. Kitts and Nevis where our people can live even better? Dealing with the fundamental issues that we have identified with your consultation with you in different ways. Water. No country can progress well without water. If a government cannot provide water for its people, it's not worth its salt. Because it's such a basic commodity. How can you build a civilization without water? All great civilizations were built along riverbanks. Look at them. Anywhere you go. If you go to the Nile River in Africa, you go to the Ganges in India, you go to China, any country you go to, you recognize that they developed their civilization along riverbanks because they wanted fundamentally water and arable land to plant food. And therefore, it says to us here in St. Kitts and Nevis that if we can't provide water for our people, how we can talk about sustainability? How we can talk about people living good? When you get up 3 o'clock in the morning and you can't bathe. That's a serious matter. 7 o'clock in the night you can't bathe. You can't wash your hand when you want to wash your hand. So you have increasing diseases and so forth. That is why we have invested thus far over $50 million in water, I think. Over $50 million. We took up the money and we said we're going to invest it because the people must have 24/7 water. And we're also investing in energy because we are saying that you must have water, you must have energy. And energy plus water equal food. And when people have energy, water, food, energy, it creates the atmosphere for growth and expansion. And that is why we are saying that the budget must respond to the needs of the people. So I want to wrap up tonight by saying to the people of Saddlers, I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank you for exposing your ideas. And sometimes you get great ideas from unexpected sources. And that is why we have to come out in the community. I think the minister is supposed to be out in the community more. They're supposed to walk the streets a little more. And so, this is informing us and all of that. I want to thank you all for really coming out and productively engaging with us on a number of very important issues. I want to thank the Ministry of Finance, led by our new Financial Secretary and his team, who are working tirelessly hard, consultation in government, outside of government, putting the framework of the budget that I am to present and debate in December. So I want to thank the Ministry of Finance. They work extremely hard to make sure that it is done. I want to thank, of course, my fellow ministers, colleagues, and those who help us. Ambassador Leon Natter, who is here tonight with us, working hard. He's the man leading on the hospital. And he has done tremendous work. Ambassador Kenneth Douglas as well, who works in the area of sports, and he's doing tremendous work there. I want to thank the Cabinet Secretary and his team who has put this together, along with the Head of Service and Director from my office, Director Vera Galloway and so forth, who are working to make sure that these are delivered. The PSs who are here, who continue to work hard. And so we are grateful for all the hard work that has been put into this and will continue to be put in to make sure that we continue to grow St. Kitts and Nevis. And of course, I want to thank our citizens who are listening on various platforms, tuning into this budget discussion in the community, which is revolutionary, so that you can have an input into what we put out as the budget as well, a direct input. And so I want to thank our citizens. And we are going to a next community, which we'll advertise, and I'm sure the chairperson would do it, so that we want even more people to come out. This is something basically we knew. We tried it already, but I told them we have to reintroduce it, and so that our people can know that this is a part and parcel of our governance structure and outreach to our people, not just during the election time, but all the time, even in significant exercises like these. And so as we go from community to discuss, I want to encourage our people to come out. We want to hear you so that we can be informed and create the best budget that we can create. Right. And then lastly, I am finished there. I just want to invite our people tomorrow at 10 a.m. we are going to be in Lagreed. At 4:30 p.m. we are going to be in Amsterdam, St. Paul's. And on Friday, 4:30 p.m. we'll be in Upper Monk Hill, St. Peter's. What are we doing? For a very, very, very long time, these communities were inhabited by our people. They did not have ownership of the land. They occupied land, but because they didn't have the official document, as far as the system is concerned, they are landless. They could not use the land to go to a bank to get a loan to build a home. And so we are ending the landlessness in these three fundamental communities that had been there for a very long time. For example, Upper Monk Hill had been occupied for over 200 years. And the vast majority of people up there don't own the land. Well, we have decided that it cannot remain like that. And so we are going to present them with a certificate of title and end the landlessness in these communities. This is how we empower our people. The land that their forefathers worked on and they inherited, we are saying to them, the land now belongs to you. And therefore, that will empower them. Right away, as soon as they get the COT, they have increased their wealth by tens of thousands of dollars, as soon as they get it in their hand. Because that becomes collateral and assets they can use to approach a financial institution, do what they want with it, but that wealth will already be in the family. That is how you grow wealth. Right, so the reason this land was land occupied hundreds of years, so long, and they have been occupying it for so long, and that is why it is justifiable to make sure that they get the land that they had worked for so many and invested in so many years. Sometimes they put in their own roads over the years. In Upper Monk Hill, for example, we built the road ourselves because no government was coming up Upper Monk Hill to build the road. And the people invested significantly, and we are saying that for all these years, since slavery, colonization, they have been occupying it. Well, it's about time that they get that specific piece of land that they inherited over the years. So that is why we are doing it in those specific areas. So I finally say, I want to invite all of you. Thank you for coming out, and may God bless all of you. See you all soon.
Thank you, Prime Minister. So like the Prime Minister rightly stated, tonight's dialogue is just a start. And we invite you to join us on the 23rd of October at Sandy Point Primary School. Where, Doctor? The Anglican Church? At the Anglican Church Hall, sorry. And then on the 29th of October for our National Forum at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. Thank you and have a safe evening.
Sustainability, the motto for our country.